When Travis entered the exam room, Talia wore the hospital gown. While Jill drew Talia's blood for the lab work and Kathy collected swabs from Talia's mouth and nose, Travis observed Talia's bruises. Damon told him that Talia didn't have a wolf, and that would definitely impact her healing. But it had been a long time since Travis saw so many cuts and bruises on a person. They would mean nothing much for a werewolf and would heal within a day or two. But for a human, or a werewolf without a wolf, it could take a week or two until they completely faded. Travis's sight drew to Talia's bandaged wrist. Considering that most of her injuries remained exposed, he had to ask,
"Who did this?" "Alpha Damon,"
Talia responded.
"That seemed very—"
Travis paused while choosing his words. Talia smiled a little while remembering Damon's intense expression while bandaging her.
"I know. That seemed very kind of him."
Travis cocked an eyebrow.
"I wanted to say unskilled, but we can go with your version."
Talia looked at the closed door nervously.
"Will Alpha Damon punish you if he hears you criticizing him?"
Travis waved his hand, indicating that it didn't seem a big deal.
"Since when did telling the truth become criticizing? And besides, Alpha will not harm me. Didn't you hear when he said that I'm the best doctor in the area?"
He made a cocky expression, and Talia put her hand over her mouth while laughing. The more Talia looked at Travis, the more he reminded her of Olivia, with his easygoing personality and a smile that told people how everything would turn out okay. She liked him already. Travis saw that Talia relaxed, and that seemed exactly what he aimed for. He needed information, and if she stiffened and stayed silent, they wouldn't reach far. Travis pulled a chair next to the bed where Talia sat, and he held onto a notebook.
"Let's start with your medical history."
Outside Travis's office, Damon paced. There stood a waiting area further down the hallway, but Damon couldn't sit. The side door opened and Jill and Kathy exited. "Did the exam finish?" Damon asked, catching Jill and Kathy by surprise. The two nurses didn't expect to see their alpha there. He stood too close and too handsome, and it took them a moment to recover.
"No, Alpha,"
Jill responded. "Then why did you come out?" "We are taking these samples to the lab," Kathy said while gesturing toward the cart with several containers and sealed cotton sticks. "What does that mean?" Damon asked with urgency. "Do both of you need to take this? One seems enough." How Damon saw this, at least one of the nurses should stay in that exam room so that Travis and Talia didn't have privacy. Jill and Kathy exchanged confused glances.
"I'm taking these to the lab, and Kathy will prepare a room in radiology so that we can take x-rays once Dr. Arzt finishes discussing Miss Talia's medical history,"
Jill responded.
"Why don't you find a seat in the waiting area, Alpha? This area belongs to medical workers and patients."
Damon frowned and stepped to the side to let them pass. He had no intention of moving from that spot. What if Talia cried for help and he couldn't hear her from there? The lack of the mind link with Talia made him anxious. Damon knew that the mate bond made him unreasonable, but he could do nothing about it. The fact that Talia stayed out of the visible range unsettled him, and the knowledge that another guy accompanied her and it involved just the two of them made it worse. Damon couldn't snap out of it. The stories went that the mate pull got stronger by the day, and the werewolves could find peace only after they marked each other. The sealed mate bond allowed them to exchange feelings no matter the distance, and because of that, mates could function when they separated. Damon tried to distract himself by checking emails, but it didn't work. He halted his steps and pressed his ear on the door of Travis's office. Nothing. How could he not pick up any sound with his alpha hearing? What if Talia left? Somehow he feared that she might disappear. Jill returned after a few minutes, and Damon felt a bit at ease knowing that Travis didn't stay as the only one inside with Talia. Damon alerted when the door opened and Jill pushed Talia out in the wheelchair. "What happened with your legs?" Damon asked Talia.
"Nothing."
"Why do you sit in a wheelchair?"
Jill responded.
"It's just the protocol, Alpha. I'm taking her to radiology so that we can take x-rays. Miss Talia wears a hospital gown that opens at the back, and if she walks, a danger exists of her being exposed." Damon approved. No one should see Talia exposed. Talia and Damon sat together with Travis to hear the results of her exam. Her swollen wrist hadn't broken, so they gave her one of those thick wraps with Velcro to secure it without using bandages until it healed.
The injury seems superficial, and I will prescribe you some ointments and painkillers. You can do any activity that your body allows you to. If you feel pain, stop, Travis said to Talia. The more concerning issue involves your underweight status, and your blood work shows several deficiencies.
Travis didn't ask much about her eating habits because just from the blood work, he could see that she ate unhealthily and not regularly. Does it seem serious? Damon asked.
It doesn't need to be. Miss Talia would need to take vitamins, and I want her to meet with a nutritionist to discuss a healthy meal plan. We don't have a nutritionist here, so she will need to go to a human city. I will give you a referral.
Travis said that until they met with a nutritionist, Talia should eat a variety of food, healthy options, in at least 3 meals and 2 snacks. Talia's eyes widened at the thought of 3 meals and 2 snacks. She didn't remember if she ever ate so many times in a day. Will it be okay if she eats more than that? Damon asked, making Talia's thoughts stop in their tracks. She thought that he would ask if it seemed okay to feed her less, yet he insinuated that he would give her more food. Travis shrugged.
She seems underweight, and she should eat as much as she can. However, I don't recommend big meals. Split it into more frequent, smaller ones, and it won't help if she starts living off junk food like chips and chocolates. Those will help her gain weight, but they don't promote health. Remember these 3: meat, fruits, and vegetables, and you can't go wrong. The nutritionist will give you more details.
Travis said that he wanted to see Talia back in 1 week to ensure her wounds healed well and that if anything got worse or she had questions, to give him a call. Talia felt dazed with all this. She didn't remember the last time she stayed in so much company of people who smiled and didn't ignore or bully her.
Wait, that's not the end. You've just had a free taste. Now get the full story on the Pocket FM app, link in description. Check out our next video and playlist, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.